Hey, everybody, live from the On Target Podcast Studios in beautiful Maitland/Orlando, Florida. It's the Tom Squared Tech Talk Podcast with your hosts Tom Jelnick and Tom Craig. Hey, welcome back to the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast. I am your way over. You know how many Diet Cokes I've had this afternoon, Tom?
I can't imagine that it would equal the amount of pure grind coffee that you've had.
I had a crap ton of pure grind coffee this morning, and it was on point.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I heard Keegan in the office talking earlier about how he was a little jumpy, a little edgier earlier today.
He gets a little squirrely.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Super cool dude. You get some coffee in him, he gets jacked as he's sitting there chugging down black pure grind coffee right now.
Especially the right coffee.
The right coffee at Pure Grind Coffee. How many times have we said that now?
You know, not enough. At least once more would be good.
Product placement, we are not above that or below that here at the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast, Tom.
Pure grind coffee.
I had a crap time.
And here we are again.
We are.
You know, at the two Toms in the room here. And I just have to say, Tom, I can't believe it's, here we are, we're going on.
Oh, shucks. Did you get me a little something?
You know, it just feels right that here we are. We've passed a number. I don't know if it was 10, 30, 40, or 50 podcasts.
Oh, we're up to like 600, I think.
I think that's the number.
Can I open it now?
Oh, please do. Please do. But, I didn't want to send it to you.
Why's
I didn't
that?
want to put it in the mail because, snail mail, you can't encrypt that stuff.
I love the wrapping.
Yeah, I got to admit it was somebody else in the office who did that, Tom.
So, did you regift this?
It was a return. A client didn't want it. But, I thought when it comes, what do you get the man who has everything? Because look at you. You've got your MacBook. You've got your Mac
goodness,
water bottle. That is the newfangled, the highest quality security camera money could buy.
Dude, this is awesome.
Yeah, well, I happen to know your security system here was built with room for expansion because you had the right team of guys build it.
This is beautiful.
Yep. So there you go. It it's not as cool as some of the pen cameras that you've got here, or the clock camera. I won't tell anyone about that one.
The clock camera's important. I keep Keegan honest that way.
That's an awesome one.
He's punched in, he's punched out, or is he?
Yeah, exactly. So there you go.
Oh,
it was
this
just
is
something,
nice, man.
Yeah, What do you say, for a tech talk podcast? What do you do? It's got to be something security related.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
normally it'd be gold, silver, or something like. But from
It's gold.
A tech guy to a tech guy, this is a very beautiful.
That's gold.
I appreciate this so much.
Absolutely. But again, I didn't want to put it in the mail because, we get so much other stuff in the mail. All that pre-approved this, instant offers for that. I didn't want this to get lost amongst the mucky muck, if you will.
Yeah.
Of all the other stuff that comes. But Tom, there's a way that people can now opt out of that. And it's if they go to optoutprescreen.com, you can avoid getting all of that mail sent to you with those pre-screened offers. So now the people who intercept your mail won't be able to take that and go get credit in your name.
Can you opt out of the in-laws, Tom?
I've been trying for that for years, but if you find that website, let us know here at the T-Squared Tech Talk Podcast. We certainly would appreciate that information.
Can you see that link, the in-law opt-out button?
There's our million, Tom.
It's a great idea.
That's our million hit app right there.
We're gonna make a freaking fortune. Is what's gonna happen.
I tell you, I'm on it right now.
But so serious talk, Tom. I am capable of that from time to time.
Yeah.
So I think what I hear you saying is there are nefarious cyber thugs and or non-cyber thugs who will traverse your neighborhood, open up your mailbox, dig into your mail sack, and pull out credit card offers and go ahead and submit their own info on your credit offer? Is that what you're saying?
It's hard to believe that people think like that, but it's absolutely going on. And it happens somewhere between the time that a whole bunch of those get sent out from that building in Wisconsin where they're all printed.
Oshkosh, I think it's. It comes out of Oshkosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's about the only thing that comes out of Oshkosh.
Yeah, by gosh.
I think they have cheese there too, don't they?
You know what? That's about the only other thing that comes out of Wisconsin.
Speaking of cheese.
Yeah. Speaking of cheese, well, I got nothing for that, Tom. But no, it's very possible that those could be intercepted anywhere along their route from Wisconsin to your house there in Central Florida.
All the way down to the Okefenokee Swamp, Tom.
I tell you, so there's a lot of people that could touch that in between and grab a couple of those envelopes.
And what do they do with those envelopes, Tom?
No, they take our data, and if you got a pre-screened offer where you're approved for credit, they could easily apply for that credit and get it. And even if it's sent to your address, now they know to intercept it.
Some restrictions may apply, Tom.
Yeah, well, the restrictions are unlimited when it comes to those nefarious people. They don't know about restrictions.
They don't. Restrictions are not in their vernacular.
They don't live by our rules.
They're outside of our rules.
Yeah. So anyway, that was just something that I thought about when packaging the camera. There was that we don't want it to get lost in the mail.
No, that was a great gift, man. I really appreciate that.
So
you're going to keep an eye on Target.
I tell you, well, somebody's got to keep an eye on you guys.
You're damn right.
So, and speaking of keeping an eye on us, did you know that they changed the laws recently? The Congress did in regards to keeping an eye on our credit scores.
Break that down for me, Tom. Unpack that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now it's free in every state to freeze or unfreeze your credit file, and that of your dependents. By the way, if you have young ones around the house or elderly, as the case may be, or those who are incapacitated. If you're responsible for those people, you could freeze their credit accounts as well, which is different than just locking them.
Well, break down that difference, because you and I were talking about before the show. There is definitely a distinct difference between freezing and completely locking that out. So break that down for us.
Yeah, well, locking it happens through one of the big three, Equifax or the other two. We won't get into naming all the people out there.
No need.
But no, if you lock your account with them, they can still sell your account information to third-party people who will market that material and determine how they can send you ads to get your credit. But freezing it blocks them from that ability to sell your account information to the third party. So freezing is much better than locking. It used to be where you could just implement a temporary one, or you'd have to pay for it depending on state to state. But now it's a law here in the great old US of A that you can't be charged for freezing and unfreezing your credit file at leisure.
At your leisure.
That's exactly it. Yes.
What about those frigid in-laws, Tom? Can you freeze them out too, or lock them out of your credit?
Impossible to get any colder when it comes to the in-laws.
And sometimes
Tom.
you can't even get them out of the damn house, Tom.
I tell you, it's just like being locked in a freezer. But nice. But no, we'll steer clear of that. I'm still on thin ice after our last podcast there. Sorry about that, Barbara.
Well, stop sharing it with the in-laws, Tom. I mean, mine's like locked out. I have blocked their IP address from being.
If you've got that firewall, I have put up firewalls in place. Okay, I have intrusion protection systems all over the house. Doesn't matter. They still make it in.
They do. Yeah.
And I don't know who's inviting them.
It's not me.
Well, I don't know. I think somebody's sending them that mailing from Wisconsin. I'm gonna have to head up to Oshkosh.
Maybe my Mac is doing it behind the scenes, Tom.
Well, I would say they're intelligent enough, but I'd be lying.
Ouch. Can I share a brief story with our friends here, Tom?
Please do.
So I was so proud of this. Yesterday here at On Target, we held a what we call Coffee and Content. We do it every third Thursday, and Tom with Advanced System Solutions is one of our premier presenters.
Lucky enough to attend.
Do you know who I invited yesterday, Tom? I think you know the answer.
There was a few.
There were a few great people here.
There were.
There was one that was really memorable, though.
And that was?
Do you remember him? His name was Mitchell, Tom.
No, I don't recall any Mitchell or anyone from any particular stores in any particular areas of expertise.
I think you might want to get the memory checked out there, Tom. I know you're in the 40s, but
Mitchell doesn't ring a bell. Sorry,
doesn't sound like
no. Don't think
nothing.
Don't think that it's he wasn't the apple of my eye. That's for sure.
Wow. That was bad. That was terrible.
See?
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I was at the Apple store shopping for more fabulous hardware to complete my already perfect Mac ensemble, and I met Mitchell at the Apple store. A nice young man came up to help me.
I remember the nice young man, and I just don't remember the whole Apple
I
part.
think
And
there's a
somehow
pain
it's blocked.
inside of you
Yeah.
that we need to probably talk about. Like something is blocking you from embracing just high quality, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad Mitchell's there to provide that for
Well,
you.
Mitchell's a great dude, and I invited him to come to Coffee and Content, and he showed up, and it was like when worlds collide because there was you, Mr. PC, and then there was the Apple guy. It was I couldn't have made it. It was beautiful. It was a moment. I shed there was a little bit of a tear.
And I look back at those Apple ads of I'm a PC and I'm a Mac, and
Right.
that's kind of how I felt too next to Mitchell.
You felt a little inferior,
I,
didn't you?
I don't know about inferior, but I felt a little older and a little bit heavier. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, much like a PC.
There you go. And that I can't argue. But you know what? Just like a PC, we work.
Okay. Let's get back to work here, Tom.
That's
All right.
right.
So
That's
credit.
right. Well, that's right. Well, freezing, but Tom, even freezing, locking, doing whatever to your credit account won't do anything to protect your current bank accounts or credit card accounts.
That's up to you.
So it's really important that you monitor that. It's free to do that every year. That I do know. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and have that run annually and keep an eye on all those accounts of yours.
You know, the dark web, you've heard of this, I'm sure. We've talked about this on the show before.
We have.
So you would be amazed about how many social security numbers, how much personal information, and all strung together are being sold on that black market by these cyber thugs. And anybody, and I proved this to, I had one of the local news channels come out here, and we were actually able to pull up credit card numbers and social numbers, social security, personal identities, and buy them within seconds online.
I see that you can get almost perfect credit scores of 840 plus.
Whoa.
For just a few $100s.
Wow.
So you can get all of that information bundled together. Or if you'd like bank account information, that's available as well. Anywhere ranging from $20 for some of the more insecure banks to $60 or $80 from Navy Federal Credit Union, which has a little bit more security in their network. But it's just amazing that all that data is out there.
It's out there floating around, and some of it, the scary thing, was actually stolen from, was it Experian or Equifax? There was an Equifax breach, I want to say 2-3 years ago.
It's hard to keep up. They've all, it seems, have been breached in one way or the other.
So, I mean, if you're an IT network coordinator at your particular business, what are some of the things, Tom, that you think are really critical to help make certain that you're protecting the personal identity of maybe your customers? What do they have to keep in mind to protect other people's credit?
Absolutely. Well, the segmentation of data, if we really want to dive deep into it here, is really important. Setting up a separate network, if you will.
Explain that to me like I'm a Mac user.
Absolutely. Well, here you go. It doesn't matter Mac, PC, or whatever. We all, when we connect to the wireless or when we connect to a wire connection, we're given an IP address.
Right.
So if you have an IP address scheme that is different for that network of credit card data for personal identifiable information, as long as you segment that out, your responsibilities are really minimalized, and you're in a much better area as far as protection. Should somebody in the office open up an email or click on a link that's not good, that's not going to be on the same network as where all that information is.
So you're basically scrambling data, right? So some data goes over here, some goes over here, some goes over there.
Yep.
And as long as you can't give people the keys to put all those together.
That's right.
So, not to over geek this, but that's like a non-relational database. Is that right?
Well, it's what it does is it really allows only particular information to travel between the two IP segments. So let's just say that everybody in the office has a 192.168.x.x address.
Sure.
We give our secure data a different IP address of like 10.10. And then we set up rules to only particular pieces of software can traverse from one IP scheme to another, and only on certain ports. So therefore, you'll have access to it from your software to get to that data.
Got it.
But if you open up a link to something and it wants to propagate and spread through the network, all those ports are going to be blocked from being able to go from point A to point B. So,
Wow.
so segmentation is really an important thing to consider when implementing personal identifiable information or other secure data.
So really, it's getting smart about mapping this thing out from the very beginning,
Yep.
so that you're not like leaving your pants down, Tom.
And you know what the best part is? If you are audited, you're only audited on that smaller segment. You don't have to pay for the audit of your entire network.
Yeah, that's awesome right there.
It
Huge
is.
time saver.
Huge time, huge money saver. So,
Cha-ching.
You know what? We love saving money. And that's one way to do it. And it's really saving money in the long run because we're keeping that data secure.
Well, as we should.
Yep.
I think, anytime that whether it's a car dealer or it's a municipality or city or whatever, you're paying your water bill to this particular company. I see it as their responsibility to keep my stuff safe. I mean, I think it's doing the right thing.
And when you hear about one of these breaches
Yeah.
and what was done and how easy it was for them to get the data, you just sit back and you think, here we just protected a company of 100 people and that had maybe information for 1,500 people. How could this big company not do the same? And it's really just mind-boggling sometimes.
No, it is, and I think it really does come back to planning. So planning
Yep.
a network out from the get-go.
Yep.
And here's the other thing. I've watched a lot of companies just piecemeal things. So, oh crap, we got to add this, and then they don't reconfigure the whole network. They just keep adding and adding and adding. It's like one big ass Band-Aid on there, Tom.
I tell you, it's like adding adapters onto the back of a computer.
Or
and it just-
dongles.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's something you wouldn't know about because don't really have room for that on your Mac.
Oh,
but,
there's plenty of room for
yeah,
dongles on
yeah,
my Mac.
yeah.
I have dongles up the yin yang, Tom.
Well, I tell you, well, it's similar to that though in piecemealing everything together, and it's not something you want to do. So if you are planning that out, segment out your phone traffic,
Right.
segment out your secure data. The phone traffic because we don't want that jitteriness on there.
I hate the jitters.
It's when people start sounding like they're in a
Keegan.
third world country.
Yeah, Keegan with all that jacked up pure grind coffee.
Yeah, we don't want that coming across on the phone. It's hard for salespeople to make a call when they sound like that.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah, you get that the packets get all jacked up, and
and then it disconnects the call, and you have to call back. And
It's tacky.
Yeah, it is. And who can make a sale like that? So,
well,
so
I could.
Well, you could sell ice cream to an Eskimo, Tom.
Oh, shucks.
But you know who's not good at keeping our data secure?
Who's that?
The in-laws, Tom.
No, hell no.
When they go to the hairdresser, forget it.
Yeah.
It's all out the
And
window.
they're getting that big poofy
all that
coiffure
dirty
handled, right?
laundry is aired.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It's all out there for the taking.
They got to lock it up sometimes. You just want to say, hey, in-laws, lock it up, right?
Well, we'll have to work on that one. But
yeah. It's called duct tape, Tom. It's very effective.
Okay, well, I'm off to the hardware store then. But
Grab me a roll.
But before I go, I think we've got something in the mail sack.
Reach deep into our mail sack.
Kyle.
Yes?
Kyle from California.
Ah.
Isn't that catchy? Kyle from California.
I think there's a song.
He's
by
a
that
super
name.
cool dude, too. So what was his question, Tom?
He says here he wants to know if freezing or locking his credit accounts will affect his ability to monitor his services. And that is a great question.
It is a great question. And you said there's a distinction between the two that are really going to impact your answer here.
That is. Well, it's actually, it's going to be with both of those. No matter which one you go down, Kyle
It is
from
Kyle,
California.
yes. Bald head. I saw pictures.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of social media. But no, that's something you want to do. If you're monitoring your credit scores, make sure you turn that on before you freeze or lock your account, because that will affect your ability to get in and look at the account.
It's a real pain in the keister, Tom.
I tell you. So make sure you set up all of that monitoring beforehand. And if you have already set it up, that's okay. Unfreeze your account, unlock the account, set up your monitoring, and then turn that back on.
Do you have to do that with a Mac as well, Tom?
I think a Mac should do it for you.
Yeah, it
For the
should.
price you pay.
Yeah,
I think it should do that.
absolutely.
It should make the coffee for you.
It should-
and maybe even give you a back rub.
And apply the duct tape to the in-laws.
I would buy a Mac at that point in time. You'd have me there.
I quoted you a couple times saying something remarkable about an Apple yesterday. I caught it on my phone. I'm going to play it
Again,
back.
I just don't recall that.
Yeah, I bet you don't.
So,
Memory's getting kind of fuzzy.
yeah, well, it goes with the eyesight, Tom. So,
Getting old sucks.
yeah. Well, it has its bonuses, though. We definitely know a thing or two when it comes to technology. So,
Well, we've got to give credit where credit is due, Tom. You see what I did there for that transition piece?
what a great way to end the podcast.
I have
today.
my moments. We want to thank Keegan, our producer today. We want to thank Mike, who might be listening along. We want to thank all 18 of you who tuned in last time, and hopefully the 28 of you who tune in this time. We'd love it if you'd share this with a friend, with the
Please,
janitor.
get it out there.
Yeah, share it with the guy behind the Subway counter.
Everybody but the in-laws, Tom.
Yeah, we don't need to be sharing anymore with them.
No, there's
It's
enough.
take.
Amen. So,
Hey, Tom, where can people find out more about you and how you can help plan a network?
we are on the internet at advancedsystemssolutions.com.
I'm glad you said you're on the internet. That's really
Well,
good for me to know.
That's very important
Because I was going to go to the post office and try to find you there.
Because if you're not using On Target,
Nice.
it's very hard to be found on the internet.
thank you.
So we thank you for your assistance in allowing us to be found. But it's an old habit for us to say, by the way, we are on the internet.
We're on the interwebs.
Yes, exactly. So and you help everybody get found. And how can you be found?
You can find us at ontargetdigitalmarketing.com. And Tom, always a pleasure. I want to thank you so much for the amazing gift. I'm humbled by that. And maybe next time maybe you'll find an Apple product in your future.
Tom, I'm just going to tell you now not to waste your money.
Best money ever spent.
There we go. Well, thanks again. Thanks again for listening, everyone.
And until next time, we're the T Squared Tech Talk Podcast. Take care. Bye-bye now.
This podcast was recorded at the On Target Podcasting Studio.